Welcome then to this session on creating alerts in CINAHL and MEDLINE. So I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Training Services team based, as I'm sure many of you will know by now, the northwest of England. So welcome to the session this morning. So in terms of today's objectives, I hope that by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to set up search alerts for CINAHL and MEDLINE. You'll also be able to keep current with the healthcare literature using our general alerts for key publications in the same databases on the EBSCOhost interface. And also you'll be able to find further help and support information on EBSCOhost healthcare databases. So that's what you're anticipating today in this session. We will spend the majority of time on the live demonstration. So I'm going to switch over now to my desktop. So let me do that right now. And in a moment, you should see the advanced search screen for CINAHL. We'll start off with CINAHL initially. We'll switch between the two of them. So we are using, of course, the EBSCOhost interface in any case, but you'll see from the outset, I've got this search displayed. Okay, so I've got my search run. I've run my search here. I've got my results below. And ordinarily, of course, we'll be looking at the results, maybe refining them, saving the search. But in this instance, we're actually going to set up the alert to inform us of future content based on our search criteria. So to do that, there are a couple of ways to do this. The first one I'll show you is going to the Save Search Alerts option here above the search history. And for this, you will need to be signed into your EBSCO folder, your My EBSCO folder. So if you work in NHS England, then when you authenticate with Open Athens into CINAHL or MEDLINE, when you click the sign in option, which is now saying sign out for me here. So I'm going to just click sign out there and then go back to sign in a moment. So click search history here, again, go back. Then when you click sign in with EBSCO single sign on, you'll be automatically taken to your folder and sign into it. So you won't have to log in separately, as it were. So it's synchronized with the Open Athens authentication service. Okay, so if you are going to save a search or set up a search alert, you do need to be signed in. So if I click save search alerts here, okay, you'll see it's prompting me to sign in right now, okay, to my account. Okay, so you enter your username there. I am going to skip that by going to sign in with Google for now. Okay, so it's going to take me through this method, as it were. But basically, whichever I use to sign in, whether directly through a username, password, or through Google sign in, as I've just done, it will take you to this page, and then you can complete the online form. At this stage, notice you can still make changes to this search history. You can still go and edit it if you want to make apply the limits to it. If you spot errors and you want to correct them, you can go in and make changes here to the search terms, either removing, adding, or amending them. Okay, so even before you set up the alert, you can still make changes to the original search that you've created. So for the alert itself, obviously you can give it a name. So this one's on ventilator-acquired pneumonia, or VAP, and I'll put let's see, and okay, so let's go for ventilator patients. Ventilator patients and VAP. Okay, so that's ventilator-acquired pneumonia. So obviously we're using CINAHL. We can see it highlighted here, and then you can select the alert radio button here. Now at this stage, it does give you additional options. If you want to set the frequency more than one, less than once a day, you can go for weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, if you prefer. Articles published within the last, by default, it's no limit, but you can change that to 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, or 1 year. And then you can run the alert for up to 1 year or a minimum of 1 month. Okay, so if you're wondering how that happens, what happens with this, typically once you set up the alert, it would run for that duration. As it reaches the expiration date, it will inform you of that, and then you can extend it longer if you wish. Okay, so you set the initial duration and it can be extended later. So for those who support PhD students, for example, if they need it for 3 years, you've got 1 year is the maximum duration. Prior to that date being reached, it will allow you to extend it another year and so on, or a month or two, whichever you prefer. The alert results format, there are 3 choices here. You have the brief format, which is the basic citation for any records retrieved that will be posted to your inbox. Detailed includes the abstract where those are available, and we also, of course, support bibliographic software like EndNote, RefWorks, Zotero, and so on So you've got the option for Bibliographic Manager as well. You can add multiple email addresses. So if you've run this search for a team of healthcare colleagues, then you could send the same search to each of them simultaneously, or it may be something you're doing for separate departments. You want to add the email addresses here, so you can just add those here and use the semicolon to distinguish them. Okay, so you can put here, for example, my colleague Sud here. I can just do this at ebsco.com. Notice I can also hide addresses. So this is, again, important for data protection. So if you are doing a generic search and forwarding it to colleagues proactively, then of course you can hide those addresses from one another. Then you've got the subject here. Again, I can just call it that for now. The alert, obviously the title here is the alert notification. And then you have the email from address. Now, similar to sending other content from the EBSCOhost interface, you have got a default email address, in this case, epalerts@ebsco.com. If you want to change that, you can simply override that. And there are perhaps two reasons why you might do that. First of all, the emails that go out, instead of, they will go into these recipients, put myself here, of course, my colleague, and then en route, as it were, they may be blocked by a spam filter. They may end up in the junk mail folder, and so the recipient may not actually see the alerts initially. So to avoid that scenario, you can obviously take the initiative and add your own library or work email address, as it were, like I'm doing now. And the other reason why you might do that, it also means you get the kudos. So if you're the librarian, the member of the library team who's supporting your healthcare staff within your trust organization, then of course, if they see that these alerts coming from yourself, then obviously it gives you the credit for that information rather than it being associated directly with EBSCO, as it were. Of course, it's coming from the EBSCOhost interface, from an EBSCO database like CINAHL or MEDLINE, but this will appear in their inbox as the from address. Okay, you can choose to opt for HTML format if you prefer, rather than plain text. And in the email, by default, you receive the query and the frequency. And of course, you can untick these if you wish, and then you save. Once you save, you get confirmation that the alert has been created on screen. You can see the alert name, the database it's running on, and unlike a save search where you save a search, for example, in CINAHL MEDLINE, this will run specifically only on that database. So with a save search, when you manually save it, it's saved based on the search in that database. But once you retrieve it, if you're viewing another database, for example, if you switch to CINAHL to MEDLINE, it will then rerun on MEDLINE. The alerts, however, are database specific. The duration here is once a month, frequency is every 2 weeks. And you see also we've got the syndicated feed, the RSS URL here, if you wish to use that. So click continue. And you may wonder, where do I maintain that? Where do I make changes? If you want to do that, go to your folder on the top right of the toolbar. And then this page, you can scroll down to the search alerts subfolder here. Click on that link and you'll see we have our search alert displayed here. So you can see it's going to be run bi-weekly against CINAHL. Results are going to go in HTML format and they're going to be sent to these two people, including myself here. Okay, so it gives you, the review of the alert and who it's going to. If you want to change that, then obviously go to edit alert here. And I can go in, so I can change the frequency, for example. Maybe I'm going to go weekly this time. I can also go to detailed format. And I'll also take out my colleague Sud here, as I'm sure he does not want to receive this. Okay, and then I can save this. And that's modified once more. Okay, and you can see it's now weekly, not bi-weekly. So click continue. And the alert is still here, but now modified in terms of the frequency, as you see there, once a week as opposed to bi-weekly, which it was originally. Now, obviously, if you do this for multiple individuals, at some point they may leave the organization, they may change to a different specialty, for example, and it may be they no longer require this information. So what you can go into this and you would just delete from here, okay, as you see I'm doing now. So again, if you set up this up on behalf of a user, you are then responsible to maintain it. you can, of course, educate your users to do this themselves, and then they are responsible for the editing of that alert or the subsequent deletion. And of course, in terms of the actual expiration, it will stop unless you renew it. It will stop at the appointed time, as it were. Okay, so again, any questions or comments on any of these elements that I'm showing you today, please do let me know. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just switch briefly. Now, again, I don't always advise this because there are differences in the subject headings for CINAHL MEDLINE, so you may end up with 0 results in some instances where you have the CINAHL subject search, which is then compared to the mesh search, because they both use MH for exact subject headings, as you see this set here as S2. But I will do that just to illustrate another way and on a different database. So, and again, these ways are these are available on the EBSCO interface, so regardless you're using CINAHL or MEDLINE. Excuse me, just have a sneezing fit there. Okay. Apologies. So you can switch from choose data to MEDLINE. So if you go to MEDLINE here, and of course you may have other versions of these databases. So for example, CINAHL Ultimate, CINAHL Complete, or MEDLINE Ultimate, MEDLINE with full text, etc. So if I open the search history again, you'll see it's still stored here. So it has been run on CINAHL. I'm going to rerun this on MEDLINE just for sake of time, not because I think you should do this, but just to illustrate another way of setting an alert, but this time in MEDLINE specifically. So again, it's still valid for the CINAHL database as well. So if you go to the results page and you'll click share here, you'll see there is this option to create an alert, email alert here. So I did it previously from the Save Searches Alerts feature within CINAHL on EBSCOhost. That feature, of course, is available here for MEDLINE on EBSCOhost. And also you have share here. And if you select email alert, it will bring up this page. Now, both instances, you need to be signed into your folder. So it'll prompt you to do that if you've not done so. But again, with EBSCO single sign-on, as soon as you click sign in, it will create the folder for you. You have these options again. You can change the subject. You can change the email from address once more, as I will do now. You can hide address from recipients if needed. And then you can choose the frequency again. So this time I go once a month, I go monthly for 6 months, and then results format, Bibliographic Manager. Okay, and we'll save this one this time. And then, interesting, enter a valid library address. It didn't accept that one this time. That's unusual. Interesting. So I'll try another one. Actually, maybe that was not a good idea. I'll just choose my generic one, my actual email address. I'll send it to myself, as it were. Okay, so you can, check that out, what works there, and click Save Alert here. Okay, in the similar fashion, go to the folder and go to the subfolder Search Alerts, and you'll see that one is there. Now, I didn't change this. Obviously, this is not ideal for viewing this particular search alert. What is that actually about? It's just the combined search terms. So I can go into edit the alert here, and I can change the alert name. Okay, that's the downside of using that particular way of creating the alert. It does default to the search strategy as it was there. So I'll put VAP and ventilator. Let's see. I'll put oral hygiene because it's on that subject, as it were. Okay, and then I can save it as the alert there again, and I can save it in the modified fashion. Okay, so again, confirmation it's been modified. So those are the search alerts, and again, these are applicable both for CINAHL and MEDLINE, so you can use either option in both databases. Again, if you've got experience of using this before, please feel free to share that in the Teams chat. If I need to unmute you, then select the raised hand icon and we can speak obviously online in that way. So that's the initial alerts feature for search alerts. Now, of course, we do also have the option for publication alerts as well. So you could be alerted to the content of a given publication on a regular basis. So to do that, you can go to the publications link on the toolbar. So I'm going to be in Medline initially here. You can browse obviously the publications. You can use the alpha menu to go to a particular publication, or you can simply search for publication. So for example, if I go for this medical journal, okay, you can see I've got that there. Okay. For BMJ. So I can also go for, let's browse here a moment. Okay. So you can go in and, you know, for example, here, you can see BMJ here. This is the current version, as it were. You can click onto this link and open up the publication page. It does allow you to search within the publication. You see the publication details there. And then you could browse the various issues as well for latest content. But if you want to be alerted to that, to save you time, to save the user time in coming to this page, then click share here. And you can select email alert here. Once you do that, it's a similar looking to page what you saw with the search alerts. So this time again, we can change the email from address. For some reason, it didn't set. Let's see if it accepts it this time. It didn't accept it last time. Excuse me there. Plain text, HTML again. You can choose whichever format works best for you and your users, your colleagues. And then you can link to table contents or link to individual articles. If you have full text access to the journal, if it's a full text publication available, for example, as you would find within Medline Ultimate, then you can learn on full text only. Obviously, we're looking at the basic Medline version, the abstract in its only version, likewise with CINAHL. And then results format, again, brief or detailed if you want to include the abstract of any index record. Okay, just see a comment from Imogen there. Sorry, I might have missed it. If you change the search and save it, can you go back and look at your changes? So yes, you can. You need to, you'd run it, it would save it in that format, and then you could rerun it and then look at the changes in that way, if I understand you correctly. So can look at that in a moment if you like. We've got plenty of time, so I might review that with you shortly. As far as the alert then, again, we've got this journal alert here for Medline. So click Save Alert here. And then for this, go back to the folder on the top right of the screen, the toolbar, and then look on the left and you'll see there is a Journal Alerts subfolder here. And then you'll see the alert for the BMJ is saved here. So it's date stamped. You can see it's going to run against the Medline database. Results are going in HTML format to my inbox. Okay. So you can, of course, edit this alert as well if you want to make other changes to this. So go to Edit Alert here. You can see the initial duration for a journal alert. Unlike the search alerts where you specify the duration, here by default it's 6 months. So you can extend it to 1 year if you prefer. Again, you can change the format and you can add more addresses here as well. So I can add my boss here. Let's sure we get that. I'll delete that in a minute. Okay, so you could send it to more than one person. Again, hide addresses from recipients. So unlike search alerts, which may relate to a specific search we're doing for a specific department or person or persons, these alerts can be more a case of you being proactive, a current awareness service to inform doctors, managers, etc., of the latest content, in this case of the BMJ. So you can enter multiple addresses there, hide the address from recipients, and inform en masse a group of healthcare professionals related to the latest content of this journal. So again, it's your call, your choice, which journals will be of most interest. You can have the Lancet, for example. You can have the New England Journal of Medicine, whatever it might be. So again, you could set the alert from numerous journals and get those alerts going out to your healthcare colleagues to inform them of the latest content from publications. Okay, so again, you can give it a title here. So I'm just going to BMJ. I'll put current awareness. Okay, just to be different here. And then you can make sure the library email address is appropriate. And then you can choose any other options and then save here. So again, this is editing the original alert. Now, obviously, this will go out. It's a daily here. So should a person whom you've emailed about this no longer require this, then you can either go in, edit the alert, remove their email address here, you could save it that fashion, or you would simply go in and delete it from the folder. So you go in here and you could delete it here. But also you can set up numerous alerts and they would all be listed under the general alerts subfolder, under my folder by default. Okay, so you'd have all the listing of various publication alerts, and they can also be sorted alphabetically as well. So if we leave this one as it is, and we'll switch to the CINAHL database, and click New Search here. I'm going to go back to CINAHL. So switch over here, deselect MEDLINE, click OK. And then I'll go to publications within CINAHL. So this time we'll look up for another journal. We'll look at the Journal of Midwifery. Okay, so you see it's available here. So click on that link, takes you to the application page. You've got, again, the option to browse issues here, the latest issues here, and then click Share, go to Email Alert, and again, you can make changes if necessary, add an email address there. Again, choose the format and save the alert. Okay, so again, it's the same functionality in MEDLINE as it would be in CINAHL. Go to your folder, go to Journal Alerts, and you now see we have the two listed there. Okay, and you see that when they were added. So again, you can sort alphabetically, which will remain the same as BMJ. Okay, so again, you can get an alphabetical listing of all the alerts, general alerts that you've created for your users. Also, they could go to different groups, different departments. They could go to different individuals. And again, if you want to edit the alert, you'll see the default duration is 6 months. Okay, so again, those are there. Okay, so obviously, if you do this on behalf of your users, you're responsible for maintaining them. And of course, if they're no longer required, you would either remove the email address or you would delete them altogether, as I will do now here. Okay. Okay. Just to also point out here, if we go back to the result list here, let's go back to new search and search history. Now I've got the original search history here, but you can see you can also retrieve alerts here, by the way. You can click retrieve alerts, and this is the alert for the search I ran earlier. Okay, so if I just clear my search history here, so I'll be switching between the databases, and go back to new search history, but I can retrieve alerts here, and I can rerun this one. Now, I did, of course, switch between CINAHL and MEDLINE, so originally it was on CINAHL in any case, and I can refresh it and bring back that information. So in terms of the question that Imogen raised, if you make changes, can you go back and look at your changes? It won't record, unless you save the search ahead of time, it won't necessarily record what change was made. It will just refresh it, as it were. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So I'm just thinking if there's anything I can change here. Let's see. So I don't know if this is what you meant, but if I went into S7, for example, to edit it and changed, for example, if I removed CHG here, for example, and just lift these two, I can save here, and then it will refresh here. Okay, so I've now removed CHG, the acronym there, from this, so I can refresh it just to be doubly sure that results are reflective of the change. I don't think this has much impact in any case, but it is obviously saved, or at least recognized I've made that change. I've removed one of the key terms here from this search string S7, but obviously I'd need to note that elsewhere if I was to record any change or adaptation to the search itself. Okay, so it's not shown or visible online that I've made that change, but obviously I can print the search beforehand or save it and then edit and rerun separately and label it differently. So I'm not sure if that's what you were thinking of, but also the key things that you can edit this, and even when going into separate search alert, you can edit that here. Okay, so it will be edited. So for example, if I added edit here and specify I want English language only for these results, then I save it and scroll down, and you'll see it's now 23, not 28 records. Okay, but again, I don't have evidence that I did that. All I know is from memory, perhaps I've done that, or if I saved it previously, and then I can go in and change it. And I'll put part 2 for now, and I can save it 24 hours, etc. Okay, I can set up the alert here. Okay. So essentially, those are the methods that we use on the EBSCOhost interface for creating alerts, whether you're looking at a search alert within CINAHL MEDLINE, or you want to set up journal alerts, publication alerts. So always go to the Publications tab for those features as well. If I go to the Help menu, I'll just show something more on this page as well. So if we just open this up, this is the generic Help menu for EBSCOhost. So I'm sure many of you have seen before. Sorry, not this one. Yep, there we are. And you'll see if we scroll down now, there are references to saving a search as an alert here. So you've got the different options: creating, editing, deleting, and viewing. There is a tutorial associated with setting up a search alert, and that's generic to all EBSCOhost databases. So it's still applicable to CINAHL MEDLINE. So you see those options there with the screenshots. Setting up a journal alert is also here. Again, creating a journal alert, editing, deleting, viewing, and there is the appropriate YouTube tutorial, which you can access through EBSCO Connect here. So that's also shown with the screenshots there to verify some of the things I've explained today. And there is another option. This would be, obviously, since you're accessing, for those who work in NHS England, you're accessing core content databases, which are managed centrally. You may not have this displayed, but locally you could do this perhaps. You can create a search alert from the search screen, and you can see that here for this EBSCOhost database on the basic search screens. There's a create alert button that can be deployed there as well. So again, that hasn't been rolled out as far as I know nationally in England for CINAHL MEDLINE. As we saw, I'm using a demonstration account today, but that kind of mirrors what you'd expect to see. But that is another option. You could have a create alert button from the search page to create that search alert straight away. Okay. And there's more information on one-step RSS search and journal alerts as well, if you're interested in RSS feeds, which I know were quite popular back in the day, less so now. Okay, so again, that information is available online there. And of course, if we go back to the main screen here, our desktop, and scroll down, you'll see EBSCO Connect. There's the link there to it. And then we have the tutorials. Again, you'll see the tutorials for EBSCOhost are available here. And again, this is generic to the interface, EBSCOhost Research Tutorials. And then on here, within this box, you'll see we've got creating a journal alert, creating a search alert here as well, and the steps for that. So again, these are the same tutorials which are linked through from the EBSCOhost help menu. Okay, so these are available with a PowerPoint as well, and you can view this in YouTube if need be. Okay, so those are available as well. So they're a lot shorter, just a couple more minutes each, and that will give you an overview which you may want to share with your users if you're advising them, educating them about these alerts and how they can use them. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel, as it were, necessarily. Okay, one more thing I'll show you as well is if we go to my training resources portal here. So this is the main portal, if you like, for healthcare related training, as it were, in terms of database training. And you'll see we've got the training videos here from the EBSCO UK YouTube channel. You can see a previous version is already here. And then we also have the training sessions, so upcoming training here listed Okay, so I'm going to be updating that soon. And we also have, again, support information is EBSCO Connect. And we do have also in the databases resource materials here. Okay, so this will give you additional help sheets, tutorials, and you can see here we support Health Business Elite as well. Journal alerts there, and you may find some others here also. So again, you can just search for example, CINAHL or EBSCOhost, apply, and you can see here we've got the tutorials for creating a search alert or journal alerts also listed there as well. Okay, so you can view it that way in addition to the standard way of going to EBSCO Connect. So I'll stop sharing here. Okay, so we've just had the live demonstration of setting up the search and journal alerts. And again, I've included the key links to the documentation, the tutorials and help sheets in relation to these. There's also a troubleshooting FAQs page as well. So if you've had any issues receiving emails and alerts from EBSCO interfaces, obviously particularly EBSCOhost database like CINAHL MEDLINE in this context, then I'd refer you to that link, that documentation there, which is also available through EBSCO Connect. And of course, we did look at the Training Resources portal, which collates more information in one place that relates to CINAHL MEDLINE and other healthcare databases. So we just covered that briefly. And of course, you have EBSCO Connect, which we've also just introduced you to again, remind you of with the tutorials there. And also the learning link, which takes you to EBSCO Academy, our learning management system, which features the EBSCO's databases, and that includes, of course, CINAHL, as you see there, and also MEDLINE as well. So again, they're also available. So I know I've shown some of that to you before in other sessions, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. Are there any questions or comments though? So any further comments, questions, or feedback on setting up alerts, either for searching or as journal alerts, publication alerts within CINAHL and MEDLINE. So any comments, questions, or feedback or thoughts about using the alerts feature for these databases at this time? Okay, just see another question there for Imogen. When the emails go out to the people go out to the people who are subscribed to the alert, does the email allow them to unsubscribe themselves? Good question. I need to check on the actual alert that goes out. Since I looked at that, we'll see they can go into the interface to actually edit and remove or delete the alert itself. I don't think you'll be notified that they're unsubscribed. I don't think that is the case, but I could be wrong, but I don't think they will be. Certainly in the new look and feel of the alert, it doesn't give you that option. I'm going to see the ones I'm looking at that you cannot see right now are actually for the new version of EBSCOhost. So I'm just going to check this again. I did have an older one showing, but I just can't find it right now. I've had a few of them set up, so let me just see. Yeah, all the ones I'm seeing at the moment are pretty much the newer version. I did have one recently, but I did delete it, unfortunately. So actually this one may be it. I just saw one. Okay, let me just show you this. This is actually not on CINAHL MEDLINE, but is an alert. So let me just show this one because it's the same format, I believe. So you should be able to see that now. So this is a alert notification for Health Business Elite. This relates to a search alert that I ran. It does show you when it ran, the alert name, the database. So that would be CINAHL instead of Health Business Elite. It's run for the period of time, and the search strategy is shown there. Yeah, so this is a search alert as opposed to a journal alert. So as far as I know, I don't think you can subscribe to them. I think you will have to delete them or remove them from within the interface itself through the folder for journal alerts, as it were. And I don't know that you would be notified. I'm not aware that you'll be notified that you've unsubscribed. But good question. I'll look that up in more detail, and maybe I'll verify that with you post-session with the follow-up email with the recording and the slide deck as well, which I have a copy of. Okay, so it's a good question. So thank you for that. Thank you for your participation today, your attendance, and the questions and comments that have come through. And obviously feel free to contact me at rcrooks@ebsco.com post-session as well. Thanks for that, and I'll endeavour to get that information to you as well that you have asked as well. Okay, thank you very much.